Hey everyone, welcome to Pro Tips. My name is Wade Acuff and I will be your host for this After Effects edition of Pro Tips. Today we'll be getting into, or we'll be using the pen tool to make some shape layers. We'll be working with a few small expressions, a few simple ones. So get ready for all of that. But first I want to say hi to chat before we get going. What's up, chat? It's good to see everybody. If you have any questions, let us know. Let me know. I'll be looking at chat throughout. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right. So I've started with a solid black layer. And just to show you a couple of things with the pen tool. I know that this is a pro tips, but I'm just going to highlight a couple of things. When working with the pen tool, if you select a solid layer, which is locked, I shouldn't have locked it. If it's solid and you're on the pen tool, you'll notice a little square beside the pen tool. That means you are making a mask. That's not what we're doing today. So just be aware that that's what that means. But if you aren't selected on anything and you have a little star shape, that means you're about to make a shape layer. Which is what we're going to get started with. We've got a few lines. I'm going to do 3 simple lines just to get us started here. And I'm just going to start with the first one. That's just a point. I'm holding down Shift to make a straight line. And we have our first shape layer with no fill and a 4-point stroke, or 4-pixel stroke. And yeah, pretty boring. That's cool. It's a lot of things start this way. But I'm going to press P to get to our position, and I'm going to animate this first. Position, I'm just hitting the little stopwatch, but I'm going to drag this over so that the first frame is off our composition. And I'm actually going to increase this a little bit. Yeah, okay, so about 1 second over. I'm just going to drag, and you'll see that we have a little motion line there that indicates that it's animated. And now look how exciting that is. Wow, right? All right, we're going to do a little bit of the expression. Well, we'll make a little expression that will make this a little bit more exciting. If you press Alt and hold, click on the stopwatch, you will get your expression dialog box. And from there, I'm just going to type loop out, and it'll pop up as an option. And I'm not going to put any arguments in between the parentheses, and it will just repeat this forever. So now we have a super exciting line that repeats itself. Well, we're going to add this as a background flare. So I'm just going to make, before we do that, let's rename it. Rename layer. I'll just call this, I don't know, line. So original, it's hurting. All right, I'm going to press Control D or Command D to make a couple of options. Let's only make 4. But to grab this animation, I'm just going to press U to reveal the animated frames, and just grab this by position. And now I can move the entire animation to a different location. Same thing again, U. We're on the first frame. I'm just grabbing the position and I'm moving this around. You might know where this is going. A lot of the things we're doing today, you've definitely seen before, I'm sure. So maybe if you want to expand on these, go for it. Let's see, that's what this is all about. All right, so, oh, didn't do the thing. Okay, I'm grabbing this. See, that's why I grab these by position, because it's real easy to scale these on accident. All right, so now we should have, okay, 4 lines, but let's change their location a little bit just to keep it interesting. And we can have, look at that, little swooshy lines that are just moving in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and grab all of them. Press T for their opacity, transparency, I guess, in this case. And I will just bring them down a little bit. Okay, so that's one line, super simple. Super simple. We're going to move on to the next super simple line. Again, making sure nothing is selected. Back to the pen tool. And these are what I'm calling swoop lines. And you'll see why in a moment. And I'm going to create a real janky looking heart. Don't judge me. We can edit this a little bit to make it less janky maybe. All right, good enough for me for now. Cool, I think. Okay, cool. All right, from there, I do want to pop in here and go to the contents. And I'm going to add to that the trim paths. Oh, and just as a note, if you select the layer and you're like, I can't edit this, sometimes you have to come to the shape level or the path level to actually grab these. So if you're on the move tool, it won't let you access that until you get to that level. But we've added trim paths. Let's animate something on those paths. Let's see. So we're gonna bring all of this down. Okay, just to show you real quick, and I'm gonna take in down to 0, but if you just animate this, you'll have like a paint on. And if you were to do the same thing with the end, it would do the same, sort of the same thing. But we're gonna offset these. I'm gonna make this stroke while we're here a little bit thicker so we can see it. Oh, I can't see it because I removed everything. Let's go ahead and animate this. We can adjust it later. Pressing the stopwatch on both of those, move down to about a second. You can adjust this after the fact. Make this 100 as well as this 100. And you still won't see anything. Well, you shouldn't see anything. That's just because this isn't at 100. Because one is animating off while the other one is animating on, but they're exact same location. But if we stagger this, you'll start to see a little line start to grow. And if we play this back, you'll see a whoop. That's way too slow. So you can grab all your keyframes, press Alt or Option, and drag them in. And then I'm just gonna press F9 to add an easy ease, jump into the graph editor, and let's see. I'm gonna drag these out to make that speed a little faster. It should be a little bit faster in the middle, slower at the beginning. There we go. Might be a little too fast. Something like that. Okay, that works for me. And that's what I'm calling a swoop line, but what we can do with that, and I'm gonna go ahead and rename this Heart 1 or something like that. And then turn off a graph editor. And I'm gonna again make sure I'm not selected on anything, grab the pen tool, and I'm gonna draw the other part of the heart, the other side of our heart shape. Again, terrible heart, you know, bad. I'm a bad heart drawer or something. Let's see. All right, that might be good. And let me go to where this starts. Yes, they cross, that's what I want. Cool. You know, not the best, but we'll make it work. All right, but I wanted to do this so I could show you that once you've animated the trim paths, you can just copy that entire section, go back to your new heart, and remember, anytime you copy and paste something, wherever the playhead, which is this little blue line, is located in your timeline, that's where you're going to paste that that animation to. So I'm going to bring this out just so I'll already know. I want this to be almost already formed. And then I'm going to paste it. And we should get a little bit of that. Okay, maybe it's a little bit off. I'm going to bring this back a little bit. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's what I'm calling swoop lines, and using the trim paths to make that. And now this next one's pretty cool as well. This is what I'm calling pop lines. Again, we're going to start with a really short little line here. And I'm just going to start from the center, hold down Shift to make a straight line. And we have our straight line. And since we already have it in our clipboard, I could just copy and paste because we're going to use the same trim line animation, but I'm going to do something else first. I'm going to go ahead and rename these so I don't get them lost. Rename this part Heart 2. Okay, now we're going to name this one Pop Pop. and it'll make sense in a minute why I'm calling it this. All right, back into our contents, we can add a repeater. And yes, we have 3 because that is the default. I want to add one more, but then I'm going to stack them by changing the position of the X to 0. So now they're all 4 of these are stacked, and I can show you if I just slowly roll these out, you can see as that goes down to 0, they are stacked on top of each other. But I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. Let's see, it's a little off, and you can adjust that through the position if you want. I'm just not fully at center. That's the only reason that is. Either way, it's going to work. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And then from there, we can just copy and paste our trim paths. Control C to the shape. I'll do it to contents. And now we can take a look at this and whoop. And I would say that's a little slow. It's actually not too bad. I thought that was going to be slow. But I want to show you one other thing real quick with this. If the repeater, this would be a cool way. I'm just going to add 9 copies and then change the degrees to 40. This might be a cool way to add like some stylized fireworks. You could change the colors. You could do all kinds of things with it. But just to keep that in mind, there's a lot of things you can do with this that's a lot more complicated than what I'm showing you guys today. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Could you copy and paste your first heart? Yes, I could have done that, Marcia. I just wanted to show that you could copy the trim paths animation directly to another path regardless of the shape. So we've got, yeah, so you can do a lot of fun things with these. All right, so we have this, but we're not quite done with that. I want to press R to get to rotate. And then I'm going to just change this to 45 so that we have like an X almost. And then I'm going to make a bunch of copies of this. Let's go 5. And now I can just move these around. Pressing S, I can scale them. And I think you might know where this is going. Oops, let me lock my layer, which I originally had locked for that purpose. There we go. All right, so back to this, we can grab these, scale these down. You could scale them up as well. I kind of don't want to do that. And then I think, yeah, I'll move this slightly off center or something. I don't know. But then you can take each one of these and stagger these out into their own random, a little bit random so that you get a little pop, pop, pop. So they're just kind of popping up all, and you can make multiple copies and change all of those as well. So that's the third line of this. And now I want to show you a real quick background, just collapsing these as we go. Real quick background. Again, super simple with this. Nothing selected. I'm going to turn these pop-pops off. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit, make sure we're on our shape. And I'm going to create a... If I hold down Shift while I make this point, it will be at a 45-degree angle, which is what I'm looking for. Something like that. And I am making it off of the composition on purpose because we're going to add a repeater to this. I'm going to go ahead and name this. Well, I won't reveal it by naming it. I will name it afterwards. So I'm going to add a repeater to this, and this time around I'm going to make like 90 copies. And you can see as I increase it, it just expands across the composition. But I'm going to go ahead and do that and then animate this with its position. So starting position is there. I'm going to move this out to about 10 seconds and just move this, I don't know, somewhere like this. Let's see if this is enough movement. Should be fine. Just trying to get a little crawl going across. And now we can add a little bit of something to hopefully make it a little more fun. I'm gonna go ahead and take the, by pressing T, I'm gonna take the transparency down. But while it's selected, let me go into the shape, contents. All right, so here we go. I'm going to add a turbulent displace to this. Okay, so it is now wavy, but it's not enough. It's not doing enough for me. What I want to adjust, you can come in here and adjust the amount if you want, but I think that starts to distort the lines too much for my taste. So I leave this pretty low, probably default's fine, but then I do take the size up. And you can change the turbulent type. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. But the thing we wanna affect here is the evolution, and I'm gonna add a time expression to that by pressing Alt or Option, clicking on the stopwatch, and then in that field, I'm gonna type time, asterisk, or times, and I'm gonna go 40. All right, so real quick, also pressing Enter on your number pad, if you have one on your keyboard, is gonna get you out of the expression. You can also just click off of it. So if I just click somewhere else, it will enter it. But just as a way to understand how time expression works, if I type, I'm gonna go to 1 second. And it should repeat over here. It should show us 40, and that's how many degrees, because this is connected to, it's multiplying the time, the number, by the time you are in your, a lot of saying time a lot, in the timeline. So in this case, 1 times 40 is 40. If I can get back to 1. Does that make sense? So when I go to 2 times 40 is going to be 80. So just to let you know, that's what that expression is doing. And so it's also adding, you know, some curves to this. I mean, you know, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I do want to I'm going to take these lines down to about 4 points. Okay, so that's a way to add like a fun background. Let's turn that off. Collapse this. Let's see. All right. And the next thing I want to do is let's get into type. We've only got a few minutes left, but I think we have time to do it. I'm going to add in, let's see, I'm just going to grab the type tool and I'm going to start typing, yes, I love technology. Technology. Exclamation point. And that's right. There's truth to this, but normally you might find this as a fill, like it might be filled. All I'm doing here is taking out the fill, leaving the outline, and then we're going to use some of the things that we've already done. But real quick, I want to make sure, scale this down. I like the overlaps. You might be screaming, hey, look at the, you know, it's got overlaps. No, I like it. I'm good with it. Thanks for noticing. But then I want to go and right click on the layer so that we can go to create shapes from text, and it will hide that original layer. And if you look at your contents, you have every one of these as a shape. Yes, a little daunting, but we're not done because it's not doing anything. We want to animate it, right? Well, before we do that, and this is kind of either before or after, but I want to do it now because I just want to adjust the way this looks. I'm going to add a transform so that I can use the skew. And I want to skew this like this, somewhere in there. Oh, not scale, skew. Okay, cool. And then we might scale it down. You could use either scale, but I'll just use this one since we're here. And I'll move it up slightly. All right, and maybe we want to animate this. So what are we going to do? I'm going to come down here to, which one do we want to use? You know what? I'll just start from scratch. So content, and then I want to come in here and add trim paths. It's going to add it way down here, and then I'm going to animate it for, I'm just going to use one of these. I'm not going to use the end on this. I'm going to go ahead and zero that out so we have nothing. I'm going to hit start, hit the little stopwatch, add a keyframe at the end with 100%. And so now when we play it back, we should see everything. But let's make it a little bit cooler and let's change it to individual so this way it will progress. All right. And I am going to add an easy ease to this as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did before because I like that little whip fast in the middle motion. And let's see, is that going to work for us? Yes, it will. Let's make it, we've got time. We've got time now. So let's make it a little bit more dynamic. So what I want to do is make a copy of that. And the copy, I'm going to come down here to fill, and I'm going to change this fill color to like a hot pink or purple or something. I don't know, whatever works for you. Click OK. And I'm going to copy this fill because this is the easiest way to do it. I'm not going to go through each one and adjust. So I'm going to select all of them. Well, let's see, all of them, and then pressing Control or Command and deselecting the comma and the exclamation point. And then I'm going to Control V, and we should all be filled in. Now, just to let you know, that did just add an extra fill, because if we look at our E, you'll see there's two fills. There's the one I didn't turn on and the one that I just added. So just to let you know, that's what's happening. And then let's stagger this. So I'm going to come in here to the animation. I'm going to pull this out so it's a little bit behind, and now we get something like this. Looking cool. We still got a little time, so let's keep up the razzle dazzle. So we've got, yes, I love technology, sweet. And let's add, I don't know, what are we going to add? I'm going to add only to the fill layer. I think I'm going to add in the trim. I'm going to press U so I can get to this. I'm going to add by holding down Alt and clicking the stopwatch, adding an expression loop out. And this time I'm going to add ping pong and see if that does what I want it to do. Ping pong should play through and then play backwards. Play through, play backwards. So liking that. We've only got a few minutes left. What should we do? You know what we could do? We could turn everything on and see what kind of mess we have. I think we'll be okay. We'll see what we got here. There are going to be some competing elements for sure. Let's see. Maybe we'll add ping pong to the heart shape. Yeah, look at this mess. This is wild. But let's see what we can do. Where is our heart? This is the reason I named things. There we go, heart. Press U, and I'm gonna do ping pong on just one of these and see what happens. Oh, that's not right. What? Nope. I pasted something in there, it wasn't right. Ping pong, nope, gotta be loop out. And then I'm gonna copy that. Let's enter. See if that works first. Yes. So now I'm going to do it to the other one. I should be able to copy paste that. Enter. All right, so now we have some full-on chaos. But there you go. And you know, I just built this project just so that I could pay homage to probably the most romantic song in cinema history. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have to look it up. But yes, that's going to do it for us today. I do have this as an example so I can show you a little bit more how you could tweak this to make this a little bit better. So, you know, here's the whole thing with some more effects and a little more razzle dazzle. But thanks everybody. That is going to do it for us. Stick around for, I believe James Badano is up next, and we'll see you guys real soon. Bye everyone.